this is the, let's make sure that's off. This is what we have made so far. So we are doing a product animation. We've been working on this for 2 different live streams over the course of the last week, and this is kind of where we've gotten so far. We have this bottle, and it kind of rotates in. We have this glass that's kind of floating by, kind of warbling by, and we have some lavender that's out of focus in the back. And the reason the lavender is out of focus is because it is a photogrammetry model, a photo scan model, and it's very low detail. It's not very high detail at all. And I just picked that up. It's like $16 for a bouquet of it on, I think it's Turbo Squid, maybe in Gumroad, Turbo Squid, Gumroad, I'm not sure. But yeah, so the whole point of this live stream and the last few live streams is to get into this view here. This is the one that's built out for the portrait viewers if you're watching on portrait. Also, I do not have chat up. I guess I could throw chat up here. Let's see. Let's see if I can do chat. I don't know if chat's gonna work. I guess I could do it on my phone, just so that I can see if anybody's chatting, because a lot of people end up thinking that this is pre-recorded, because I don't really read chat. Sorry. Sometimes I get locked in. 6'7", Coles. 6'7". I feel like I'm too old to be doing that shit. That being said, what we're going to work on today. So what we've worked on over the last few live streams has been getting this hero shot done. Because we watched a video on, and I think I can pull it up on here. We should be able to open recent mood board. Here's our mood board. So we watched honestly, let's take this and let's make this full size just so you guys can see it. So we made this mood board. These are the shots that we've made. This is the final shot in, I think, the first live stream, maybe second live stream we got to there, and then kind of got to there with some better lighting, just messing around with some stuff. But this is from an artist. All of these 9 images are from an artist that's on YouTube that runs a studio called Not Important Studio, and he just went to BlendCon and did kind of a little short masterclass on how he does his product animations in Blender specifically, which is sick, because learning from people who do it well is the best way to start doing it well yourself. And he said that he starts with his hero shots first. He makes sure that where the image is going to end at the very end of the animation is the first thing he designs, because he really wants care and ambience and everything that he's trying to convey about the brand to be the last thing that you see, because it's probably going to be the most memorable thing you see, and then everything else you can rip from there. So he started with building these out, and then from there went into moving the camera around and getting detail shots that lead up to the final animation. So this is the first scene he built with this, the hero shot, and then he went and got some of the intro shots that lead into what this exactly is. This one I just liked because I love tiling. I think tiling in motion graphics is a really pretty way to convey any kind of message. Looks like this is moved. That's my bad. I'm sorry about that, you guys. Get that set properly there. Now that we have this done, let's Alt-Tab back to here. And we have our animation done. The only thing I've done off stream is I took it down from 250 frames. I just selected all of the final keyframes and I just moved it down to 180 frames. I felt like, I think it's 8.2 seconds long at 30 frames per second at 250 frames. And we don't need 8 seconds to get through this final shot. This final shot should probably be closer to 5 seconds. And so that's kind of closer to where I got it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 6 seconds long. 6 seconds for the final frame, and that's fine. I like that. I'm happy with that. Now that being said, what I want to do now is I want to hit Command Save on this. This is our file. I want to hit Command Shift Save, and we're going to call this Lavender Oil Detail Shots. And we're just going to save a new version of this. So now anything we do in here is not affecting the original animation that we were working on earlier, which is good. We don't want to really mess with that. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to export all of this at the same time. I'll probably do that off stream, and then I'll probably do one final stream of compositing all of this together in After Effects to make kind of a cohesion, starting from scratch, grabbing a model of a bottle, applying the materials, coming up with the hero shot, animating the hero shot, rendering everything out, and then taking it into After Effects and compositing everything into a cohesive advertisement, which is looks like we are declining that call. But that being said, now that we are in a completely new detail shots, we're in a new animation here. I'm going to click on my camera because right now my camera does have keyframes. And I want to take these and I want to delete them. Oh, I didn't want to delete the camera, I just want to delete the so there we go. We can delete those keyframes. We can go back to camera view. And there's two different ways that we can do this. So since we have our windowed view right here, we can start moving this around using a technique that I like to, where since we are going to be looking at our bottle mostly, I was thinking what we could do is move our center point there to our bottle. So I could grab this and I go, I think Q, origin to 3D cursor. No, we want 3D cursor to origin. So Shift S, cursor to selected. There we go. Now our cursor is there. So now, while we have our camera selected, we can come up here to our transform pivot point and we can go to 3D cursor. Now if I rotate on Z, now I'm moving the camera around that point. If I rotate on X, that's the center pivot point. So everything's staying in the center there, or at least this is staying in the center, right? Like we could move a lot of these things and change it around. But really what I'm trying to do for this stream is we want to hone in and get some more detail shots of this final animation. And with that, we can change some of our camera settings, right? Right now we're at 90 millimeters for our focal length, and we do have depth of field on at a 7.1 f-stop. Now what we can do is I do want this to be zoomed in, G, Z, Z, and I do want to get some shots of that cap. So getting shots of the cap might be cool just because it's especially like some super macro shots here of this cap. And then also setting our, where is our empty? Which, this empty is our depth of field, I think. This is the empty 3. Let's click back on our camera. And then let's see what our, empty 3. We're gonna change this depth of field completely. So what I think I'm going to do with this is I might actually get a new empty. We're going to go Shift A, empty, plane, and we're going to call this focus. Decline. Battlefield 6 came out, so all the homies are trying to play Battlefield 6, but I want to model in 3D instead. So let's do this. Let's call this focus. Now that that is there, this should not be tied to, maybe it could be tied. Is it parented? It's not parented. Okay, cool. So it's just its own thing. We can hide this empty right there. So our focus is right here. Control Z. Let's bring this back to right there. And I want to take this and and I want to match it to, we're going to click on our empty, our focus empty, and then we're going to shift click on our cap, and we're going to go Control P to parent, keep transform. And now we're going to take this up, GZ, GX, just RGY, and just bring it out a little bit. And then we're going to go back to our camera real quick. Camera. Clip start. We want to take this down. We want this thing to be able to get really close. And then take this. Oh wait, back to camera, back to camera. And we want to change our empty to our focus empty. So we just come down here, roll down until we find focus. You guys can see that, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you guys can see that. Maybe you couldn't. Right here, we have a scroll, and I just went to the focus, because you can scroll down and get to the focus. Right there. Sick. Okay, so you guys did see that. I want to make sure you guys can see everything. All right, now you can see that we have this in focus, which is really good. This is kind of what we're trying to get, right? We're trying to get something that looks super nice and stylized, looks super good, but also not too much, not so close that you start seeing any kind of like material seam or anything like that, right? And what I'm probably going to do with this is, as this is moving, I'm probably going to rotate this cap on its own z-axis, just because that adds a really nice touch to it. This is giving me kind of this sort of the mood board, where we are getting kind of that repeating pattern, which is nice. It looks really good in my opinion. And luckily, since we've parented our focus, we can scale this focus. Oh, we're still on 3D cursor. We're going to move this to median point. So we can scale this down just so it's a little bit easier to see on there. And while this is moving, it's coming closer. That could be a really good like transition to another shot, especially if it's spinning. But we can also have our camera move back a little bit, or we can go back to rotate around the 3D cursor, and we can rotate on the z-axis 180 and have it come from the back, GZ, and then we can take this focus and we can bring it down, just go GY, and there you go. Now it's grabbing focus on that. And you can even start animating where this focal point is at, right? So right now we're down here, we can have it move as the bottle's moving so that we start pulling focus more on the top. And while all of this is happening, you're getting that spinning, which is just kind of, you know, it's just cool little ideas that we can mess with. So I really like this shot. I'm really liking this shot. So let's get this animated. First thing I want to do is start at frame 1. And I want to take this, and we are going to hit I for rotation, and then we're going to come over here to frame 180, and we are going to hit rotate Z. Oh wait, I gotta change this. Medium point. Rotate ZZ, and we're going to have this animate back and around. You can do it as much as you want or as little as you want, and then we're just gonna hit I again, and just make sure that see how that's spinning on there? I think that looks great. It just adds a lot to it. And we're getting out of focus because the focal point is spinning with it. Ooh, that might not be good. That actually might be fine. That actually might be a cool way to take things out of animation. That we might want to instead click on our focus, Control P, no, right click, clear parent, keep transform, and then click on on our frame of our controller for our bottle and hit Control P on that, keep transform. So now it won't spin, right? Which is important. We don't want it to spin, but we want it to stay with that that bottle, which is really, really nice. And now this is completely staying in frame, or completely focused, at least on the top. It's on focus, right? Rotate. X. Oh, are we on medium point? We are on medium point. Rotate X. Should be fine. Like that. And that gives us this nice detail shot. And then what we can also do is have the camera slowly moving down. So camera starts here, we'll hit I on camera, and then here, let's have the camera down here in GY forward. I. And then come back to the first frame here, and take this, we'll hit I, and then come to frame 180. And these don't have to be 180 frames long, right? We don't have to do 6 seconds of this, but let's just get the motion right, and then we can go from there. We can always slow things up, speed things down, which it'll be totally kind of up to you. GZ, and take this down and take it back, GY. Because we really want that glass to be in focus. We want the glass to be what we're focusing on. And we might even, you can even take it inside, but I think having sharp, let's zoom in here. Might even take it up to this. And we can go to our camera. If everything's still not in focus enough, we can take our f-stop up, right? Just get a little bit more in focus. Whoa, 35 is a little too much. We don't want that much. Just an interesting frame, right? So then we can say that seems good to me. So all of this is in frame and being seen, and that's just like one of those detail shots where it's like, what are we looking at? What is going on? Macro shot of things kind of moving. Like this macro shot of like the light slightly behind, obviously the pulling from this final frame. This one's great. I love how this looks. I definitely want to get I had this really good idea of messing around with these and having them weave around the bottle. So that could be a good one. I'm kind of thinking I want this to land lower, so I might send this back to 180. I don't know if you guys can see my, you guys, so if you're on portrait, you probably can't see this right now, so I'll switch over to here. Timeline, now you guys can see it. You guys can see what I'm doing. If you're on landscape, the actual, like, PC live stream, you will be able to see what I'm doing here. So, I'm not liking ending right here. Also, I'm not sure if I really like the fully black background. So we can come here, we can set our strength to set this to maybe a little bit more of a gray color. I am liking kind of a black background. We can also set it to transparent as well if we want to do that. And what I'm thinking is on this final frame, on frame 180, on a frame, or halfway in between, I can just select it, selection finish, frame one. That's really nice. And then what I'm thinking I'm going to do is on frame 180, we're going to take this GZ, come down. So that's obviously totally not it. I am kind of liking where this is at. Let's set this I. And that might be a little bit better. And honestly, just even reversing that might be good. Because it's just so ambiguous, right? You're just getting color and light. And then another thing we can do is we can click on all of these keyframes, and then we can go to our graph editor. And I'll bring this back so you guys can see kind of what I'm doing here. If you're in portrait, let's go to our graph editor, and let's go to our Z location. Now we have that selected, tilde key, frame selected, and Alt drag. Middle mouse, Alt middle mouse drag. Oh no, Control middle mouse drag. Lets you make things tall and not tall. It just gives you a little bit more of a visual representation. So we can take this back, and I kind of want that middle movement to be pretty quick, and then settle down in pretty slowly. But I love that. See how we're getting like big splotches of color that are happening. This can also be an easy transition into another scene, maybe even on white, right? So this could be really cool. I'm thinking I'm going to do this, and even if I reverse the footage in, like this is a white right there, we can have that be a line. So let's move this, because I really want this to land on frame set it to pi, like that. Thank you for the subscription, I super appreciate it. Mr. Terry J, or Miss Terry J. Cousin Terry J is who it is. Cousin Terry J, I appreciate the subscription. Let me know if you have any questions. I don't know if my Streamlabs chat is keeping up to date. If you guys are saying stuff, like, I'm only seeing one comment on there, so I apologize. I apologize if it's not actually showing me the comments. I try not to look at it. I'm just trying to really get as creative as possible here. But I'm loving a lot of this, because this will be fun to mess with in After Effects when we do go into the compositing. Now, one thing I do want to do with this animation here, so we have an animation here. Let's switch this back to our timeline. We have the keyframes that are spinning this. Right now it's starting slow and then speeding up and then it's slowing down, but we're already looking away. So kind of what I want to do with this is, well, Control Z. I only want to select this last one, and up until the very final frames that we're seeing that cap, I'm going to move the final frame to, or the keyframe to there, Q to nearest frame, that's fine, and just get that spinning faster, because I think that will look a little bit more interesting, especially with motion blur, right? If we add some motion blur to that. And then another thing we can do is we can select these, and we can set the interpolation to linear, and what that'll do is there is no easing. It's always going to be spinning at the same rate, and that kind of just gives a slight, almost as if, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's like you're just seeing it and it's always been spinning and it will always be spinning. I kind of like that sometimes with some motion. Some motion that can help a lot is having that. Now, one thing I am seeing on this is I feel like with some of these, you're kind of getting, see how this looks? I will say I like catching the edge there and having that be super sharp for a second. What I'm not liking is this almost looks like a hexagon. See how you're getting one flat side right here from the light, and then this is almost a sharp fall off where the lighting is? Now that might actually make sense because the light's facing that. And maybe what we want to do is we want to remove this light right here altogether and just use an above light, right? So what we could do is we could take this light and delete the keyframes on it, and then come here to 3D cursor and rotate this to the side, just to get some more interest, or rotate it to the other side, right? How this animation looks like this looks incredible if we go to frame 1 here and then we set our, click on anything over here and just zoom in on it, and we set this to be back here right on the edge, and so now we're just catching this lighting here, really crisp lighting. And then we take this camera and we just widen it up a little bit. Set it to like 80 millimeters. And honestly, we might even keyframe what it's at, right? 80 millimeters, just so we're catching that. We don't really have to move its position because we already keyframed its position. And now that frame is, right, that cap is spinning, but we're catching that a little bit. And then, so let's click back on our focus here, and let's see what we got. So it's moving down pretty quickly, but remember right here, I almost want to go like this, Shift D, and bring that back up. Let's see, okay, and I forgot to keyframe that, so we'll delete that. Let's go to frame 1, boom, focus, G, Y, Y. We just want to catch that, those really sharp edges. Do you want it to be more focused? No, I'm thinking this goes back to there, and we really capture those edges right there. I think that will look really pretty. I think that looks really good. Especially if it's spinning, I just think that's going to look incredible. And we can mess with the lighting a little bit too. But I think that's where we want it. So I'm going to go I, and we're going to set that keyframe. And then I'm going to go Shift D, and I'm going to bring that to about 50. So that we are keeping that as the focal point until we get down to like right about here, where now we're getting that blobby kind of curve, which looks incredible in my opinion, just for that ethereal kind of look, and a great transition area, especially like right there, that stretching. We can throw in After Effects a displacement on that and have it kind of warble and wipe into another shot. That could easily be a wipe, especially if we move camera, right? So now that we have this set, I really like this. I think that this looks great. It's like we're seeing the bottle, it's slightly out of focus. Now one thing I will say about this is we should definitely go down to render, and we should go down to film, and we should change the background to transparent. I'm thinking that that's actually really important to do. And then we should also zoom out a lot, and we should go H and H, unless that gets rid of 2 minute bounce light, and then we can go Control Z. Control Z. Because we don't want to get rid of all bounce lighting, but we do want some transparency in this, right? And I'm wondering if we don't just take this, and since we're already on 3D cursor, if we don't go rotate Z 180, and then now that's behind GY, and move it back like this. because we know our final frame is going to be this, right? Something similar to this. I think we have a little bit more of a vignette on it now, but something similar to this. So we might want to keep that green background. And another thing I was thinking about that we'll probably dive into a little bit more once we get into the After Effects workflow is I'm going to look up, I think Pexels might have it, but I'm going to look up blooming lavender. And if there's a template footage for like a time lapse of lavender that like blooms, that would be incredible to use in this, right? Like a close-up macro shot of lavender blooming, try and key it out, make sure that we can snag it from its background, and then just have like one shot on some lavender blooming. So I'm really liking this moving and rotating, but I'm not liking so much darkness in frame. So with that, let's move back to here, to our camera. And I'm thinking that we need to move it to the left. So I'm going to delete this keyframe, this final keyframe. I'm going to go to keyframe 1, and then I'm going to go GX, and then move it over to the side. And just set that framing like either like that or like this, but really just kind of take up a third of frame. Honestly, rotate Z like that looks incredible. Just that super shallow depth of field. I think I'm gonna go eye there, and then it's moving. Honestly, that shot right there is just great. Where did it stop? I think it's like right here, 72 frames. I'm gonna go G, Y, I. It's just a slight. I'm not sure I like that. Let's delete that keyframe. So by 74, we need this again. So I think I am going to come down to here. X. That is still moving, still rotating. Now we can just click on this and see where that ends rotation. Control Z. We just want to move this. Move that to about 80. That should be good. Because I think by 80 we are no longer seeing much detail on it. And we do have this really harsh light right there, so we'll probably move some lights around to make sure that we're getting this to be mint. We want this to be mint. So yeah, 80 should be fine. We're pretty much out by 80, 75, whatever. It should be fine. And then once we hit 180, which I don't think even this whole animation is going to take that long, like this spot, I'm thinking that this is pretty locked in. I really like how this looks. What I want to do is on here, I want to rotate this on the Z-axis, ZZ, and I want to just zoom into this, I. Let's just see how this works. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come just a couple frames, because we're practically where we want to be right now, right? I'm going to hit I, I'm going to move it out, and I want it to, Control Z, wrong one. I'm going to move it out to like 80, and at 80 I want it to be GZ, GX, GZ, like right here, I. That's super annoying. Move that out to 80. So model's moving, things are moving fine. Now we can mess with the lighting. All right, so that's looking good to me. I'm liking how that looks. Now what I want to do is move a lot of these lights around. So this, rotate Z. I like that. This, we're gonna delete that large one for a second, right? Let's take this one. Let's move this up here to frame 1. And we want this really GZZ. We're gonna move this down. We gotta get this also off of that and onto median point. And then we gotta rotate on the x-axis and get this looking down on it like that. I really like that overhead lighting. That overhead lighting is incredible. Man, I love that. That looks so pretty. And then, yeah, we move right into here. So what I'm thinking is, hold on, let me close this door real quick. All right, that should be fine. Let's see here. I'm not liking this part of this shot. I am liking this part of this shot. So maybe what I do is this. Delete those. Shift click, Control I, or no, Control P, keep transform. And so the light's moving while that's moving. And we just do 80 frames. And we go to our focus pool. There's our focus. There we go. Delete. The focus should just stay there. And maybe the focus changes G, Y to here. And we have a light that shines more on this as this moves. And then we just go I, and we're gonna set this to 80. I like that, enter. And so now, see, this is fantastic. I'm so glad we set it up this way, because now I can go with this light, and I can go, okay, frame 1, you're gonna be there, I. Frame 80, the final frame of this animation, you're going to be GZZ, so closer down, so harsher lighting, and GY, a little bit more over here. GZZ, maybe not that harsh of lighting, but I like that. Maybe not so far over, maybe we keep it GX, like that. Just starts to come in. It's a little too late right there. So maybe we have it hit there right about here. Oh, it's because this is actually turning. So we actually need this to move over. So let's go back to our previous keyframe here. And let's go G. Where's this cone hitting? like is this right here. This is some serious issues on our topology. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to zoom in here. We will need to edit this and see what's going on. Because this should not be doing that. I wonder if that's the bevel modifier tab. I bet you 10 to 1 that's the bevel modifier. What happens if I add a loop cut? And bring this down. Nope. Control R. 2 or 3 loop cuts. Actually makes it worse. That's a little bit better. I know this has something to do with our auto smooth going. Okay, let's try something here. Let's go shade flat. That was cool. Shade auto smooth, shade smooth. Both of those are doing practically the same thing. I think this might have to do with my shader editor where I have a bevel node in here. The radius is set to 0.01. So if I set this to 0.005, nope, 0.005, it's just going to automatically set it to 0.1. It's going to round up 3. Sorry, I gotta sneeze. My heavens. Alright. There, that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Not much. Let's go tab on this again. I wonder if that's kind of helping that. Scale. Control bevel. Tab. There we go. I mean, that seems to have helped, right? I do not like that. But I don't think there's really anything I can do about that. I think that's my original mesh that I had in here. I wonder if I could go like this and go circle. 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 Tab. If that might help a little bit. I mean, some things you can work with, some things you can't. I think it's fine for now. If it looks too bad, we'll just cut the shot, right? Or we'll just only hit the top of this. But I really like how the light just slowly comes in there. I think that looks really Yeah, I think that looks great. Now, one thing I will say is the light actually might look good rotating around the side of it instead. So what we might be able to do is take this, delete this first keyframe like that. Oh, delete this first keyframe, or this last keyframe, right? Like that, keep this. Honestly, maybe even delete this. And instead, rotate Z, 3D cursor, rotate Z. And this, have this kind of come up and around, right? And then what is this at? 5,000? I almost call bullshit. Scale Z, YY, XX, GZZ, I, rotate Z. up and around. I think that's what we want, because we want the final shot to be closer to something like that. So right 81, rotate ZZ, no, rotate Z. Something like this, that's incredible. That looks great. I, and then, I don't know where your first motion was supposed to be, but we're going to come back to 1, and we're going to go rotate Z, I, rotate Z, right here, I. Control Z, what? Have any more keyframes? I bet you this does. It doesn't. So, yeah, there we go. But I really love that. And then this last one, where what we are going to do just to keep those highlights the same is we're going to go G, V, Z, and we're going to move it in a little bit so that those highlights on the bottle are the same brightness as they were kind of at the beginning, where it's almost completely white there. Excuse me. I think that looks great as focus pulls here towards the end. I think that's looking pretty fantastic. Now, a lot of dark space, but a lot of like pull right into your eyes are getting kind of pulled into the scene, and you're just like, what am I looking at? So you start with this in frame, and then you move to our final frame after a few other renditions, right? So what we can also have is have that glass as a transition between a lot of this, where that glass kind of warps in, which will be really nice. Man, I really wish I could read chat. I'm sure you guys are chatting a whole bunch, but there's not much I can do about it. I really have no way to read the chat. Let's see. If we can do this. Give me 2 seconds. Let me see if I can. Go to here. There we go. Fantastic. I also don't have a thing to hold my phone, but I can see chat now, which is nice. It's nice to be able to see chat. Just in case you guys say anything. All right. Cool. Things are looking good. I'm thinking this looks great. In my opinion. That's just me. My heaven, starting to get late here. Cool, we got another shot saved. And now I'm gonna hit Command Save. Lavender oil detail shots. So that's shot 1. And I will set this one's output here to hero shot. We are going to put this in. This one's output is going to be spinning. Cap. Macro shot. Spinning cap. Save. And then RGB plus alpha, there is no transparency in this, so I think that's fine. This is a lot of dark screen. I really like that. Let's go back to some of his shots here. Let's just see what we got. Anything that's fully like this has a lot. It also has a lot of highlights. So maybe we do utilize some of I would probably do with this is, well, what we could do is we can have Shift A, mesh, we'll just do an icosphere. Subdivisions, we'll do 3. Hide that, scale it. Control A, set scale. G, X, G. Actually, I kind of like that there. And then it'll be purple glass material. That, tap. And we can scale that down. I wonder if not, well, first we gotta stop scaling it on that, scale it on the medium point. G, Shift S, selection to cursor. GX. Right click, shade smooth. But we can also go I, and then here, where does it get out of frame? GZ, GX, X, out, Y. So it's like, actually kind of like slowly moving around, and then we can Shift D. Let's click on this. Shift S. Cursor to selected. This one can rotate Z right here. Shift D, rotate Z. Scale that down. So this is just an idea, right? To have like some kind of flow happening here, where it's like, oh, we have that glass motif already. So let's get some of these moving. this one, which I don't even think the camera can see this one yet. This one, GZ, I, GZ, wait, go one frame forward, GZ, GX, I, oh my heavens, I wish I could see this timeline. And when does that one get out of frame? Is it at 80? Yeah. So it's like right here. That one is down. And so these aren't just like spinning around, they're also like moving up and down. And then we can also like make those movements a little bit sharper. But the question is this distracting from the overall scene here, right? My whole idea is that I'm trying to showcase the glass as a faux oil, which I think could be really cool. But yeah. And so this one, I really want to be in frame. So this one can go up. So we'll just go move this back to here. And I think this one first comes into frame right there. And then right here, GZ, GX, GZ. I like it being I. So that one really kind of like just barely is in frame, honestly. Maybe not that far. GZ. GX. I. Yeah, just kind of like let it do its thing. And then this one, GZ, Control Z. Let's just make sure that we're on that frame. So this frame, Q, selection frame, GZ. Like right there. And we're gonna add motion blur onto these too, so they should be pretty good. Honestly, on this one, I might GY. So it's, I mean, it's like GY, GX, Y. And then right here, I might have it dip down. They're coming in and some of them are dipping down and going up and around. And this last one, I want it, we'll click on this, we'll go I, move that forward. And then G, Y. I want this one perfectly in frame. Nice and in focus. was just an idea. It's just an idea, right? And then we would probably want one more to be coming around. So maybe these little spheres, maybe in our final shot we also add some spheres kind of just floating or knocking into each other just slightly in the background. That might look kind of cool, just little tiny ones. And there will be motion blur, so this will look, in fact, motion blur should already be turned on, but let's just double check. Motion blur, and then let's just see what this looks like right here. With the motion, this should have motion blur built in already. So that's got one. That's one. That's got a little bit of motion blur there. I think that's not looking bad. And the focus pull looks like it's really right here. The focus is pulling right to here. So we might need to move that back a little bit. But this is the only thing that's actually in focus here. But look at that. That's smoothed out the kind of rough thing that I was a little worried about. That looks great in my opinion. This looks like a great little detail shot. So even though here it's showing that this is what's in focus, it looks like we're not catching all the bounce lighting that's happening over here, which is fine. That's actually kind of good. So we're getting technically more lighting than we're anticipating, which is nice. So what I want to do then, so yeah, this looks like it's one right there. That looks like one right there. So then we should click on this. This frame, let's go boom, boom, G, X. And then let's see if that's in frame or not. It should be, to be honest. That should be it, fine. And then let's just go F12, and let's just see. Oh, wrong shot. Let's see. No, okay, so it is pretty accurate. I do want that to be in frame. So let's go G, Y, Y, right until that little sucker is just perfectly lit up. See, but now this is further out. Because I just had it right here. Shift S, selection to cursor. No, selection to active. There we go. focus to pull right there. And then this. Yeah, that's fine. And then the only thing I need is for this one to move more. So right on this frame, GZ, GX, wait, where, oh, wrong thing. GXX, GZ, I. Oh, they kind of go up at the same time, though. Oh, that's frustrating. See, I wish it wouldn't snap between frames. I really, really, really want it to delete that. I don't like that these don't snap to frame. And I know that there's something keyframe, playback. I don't know how to set that. There's got to be a way to do it. Yeah. Huh, interesting. I'll have to look that up. Usually there's a, I think it's Shift Tab to snap these to frame, but that's not working. Up here, if I go Shift Tab, what is this? Yeah, Shift Tab. Turns that on. Shift Tab. So I wonder why that's not working here. That's fine though. Only active. Yeah, interesting. That's fine. But you guys get the idea, right? Y'all get the idea. So y'all understand what I'm talking about. So I'm wondering if Q set to nearest frame. Let's zoom out on this. Let's come over here to 80. I love that this is snapping to frame. That's very nice. Oh, maybe that. Nope. Interesting. Let's see here. So if that's ending there, what if I go GZ? I. And then here, GZ. GXX. I. And then that one is going down while that one's going up. But also I don't want this one to zoom out so far. I want this one needs to GXX. I. I really don't want them crossing each other's frame like that. That's annoying to me. I want this one to be in more. GXX. I. I, right there. So all of these should now be kind of more or less, right? Moving along with the, kind of, not really. They're not really moving that well. We'll have to, I'll fine tune that, and I might not even want the spheres. I just wanted to see how these would look if I went F12 here. Because this looks great. This looks fantastic. Like I'm loving style that we caught with this. That's looking pretty good. I do like how these look. If I was to do this, I think, with these, I would probably just do a particle system and then just set a collider with this. And just make a cylinder collider mesh, very low quality one. Maybe not low quality because I wouldn't want it to flip it anyway. And then I just make sure that they just don't, they kind of off. And in a macro shot, that's really hard to do properly, right? I mean, it is what it is. But cool, you guys. I think that's pretty much it for today. I just wanted to try and come in and make sure that we got some new updates to this project. Currently, I'm working on a project for a client. So once we get this done, I'll edit this into a much more concise video. And the landscape version of this live stream doesn't have my face on it, so I can do exactly that. So that I can just kind of edit the pieces that I need, and I'll do a voiceover, which will be sick, and we'll be able to make a cool little tutorial on how to do some product modeling. Let's command save this project, detail shots file. Let's go back into our regular project here. Turn this on. Yeah, I'm thinking that instead of doing those little glass beads on the cap, we're going to do this. But I really think that this, just to keep with this motif, I don't even know why I went, I feel like the spheres kind of do look good. Like glass shapes in general look really pretty, in my opinion. And so I'm thinking that kind of trying to stick with kind of that quote-unquote liquid glass look is kind of cool. Don't sue me, Tim Cook. But yeah, no, I'm pretty excited on this. I think that this is a fun little project, and it's turning out very pretty, very pretty. So that being said, actually, let's go get our thumbnail for this. So cover. Let's go to detail shots. Don't save this. Let's go into. Let's delete these icospheres. Let's go find all the icospheres. 1, 2, 3. I think I only made 4. Delete. We do not want those. I think we're going to just let's go to modeling. We're in object mode. Let's go to view camera. Make this bigger. And turn this on. And honestly, we might just do this. We might just actually get some of that bounce lighting in. Having this have purple in front of it is intriguing to me. I don't know what that's from, but I like it. I like it a lot. I don't know what's in front of the case. But I'm really loving this shot. Love this shot a lot. And now I'm also starting to think that maybe we should pin the focal point to the cap as it spins, and just start at the back and let it spin into focus. That might not be a bad idea at all. I feel like that would be pretty sick. So that is, and we will. I think it's Alt-Shift save on this, and we just go to videos, and we go down to YouTube videos. We just drop it. All of our stuff here. Thumbnail project. And we'll see you guys in the next live stream. Next little hour project kind of brainstorms are kind of fun. I enjoy doing this. I never really test my audio to make sure it's all working properly. I try and throw on fair use music in the background, but sometimes it's loud. It's not much you can do about that. But yeah. Alright, you guys. Have a good rest of your evening.